morning. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri, and the big story this morning, of course, is the Prime Minister's historic all-party meeting with leaders of Jammu and Kashmir that is set to take place at his residence today. Now, 14 Jammu and Kashmir leaders are set to attend that meeting. Ahead of that meeting, a Congress strategy meeting is being held at the former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Ghulam Nabi Azad's residence at 11. But even as that happens, there is another meeting that the BJP's headquarters will be seeing, that is of 3 leaders from the BJP. So all these meetings politically being held, of course, to strategize ahead of that all-party meeting that has been called by the Prime Minister. Now, this meeting that's been called by the Prime Minister assumes a great deal of significance simply because it is the first meeting that has been called by the Prime Minister post the abrogation of Article 370, and obviously a large number of political parties have been asking for full statehood for Jammu and Kashmir. Now, those perhaps are the issues that could be discussed at that meeting today. There is no agenda that has been put forward in writing as such to these meeting at the Prime Minister's house. We're going to keep track of all the developments politically. Let's also go across to Major Gaurav Arya, who now joins me, and also joining me from Srinagar is going to be Zeenat. Good morning, both of you. Major Arya, if I could come to you first. Now, politics aside, the abrogation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir has, definitely improved the security situation there. And if I could just quote essentially from a Union Home Ministry report, and this report, of course, is a year old, it points to the fact that terrorism incidents in Jammu and Kashmir have declined by about 36%. So in that sense, the abrogation of Article 370 has definitely helped improve, the security situation there.
It's not just about the terrorism being decreased by 37 or 38%, as you mentioned. It is also about the fact that the overall environment has changed in Kashmir. For example, there is no stone pelting now in Kashmir. The Hartal and the Bands, which were the signature tune of the whole press conference, now that doesn't happen any longer in Kashmir. I think that this is something that we need to consider. This is something that is happening in Kashmir, and this is news for the positive. Yes, it will take time for Kashmir to come back to normalcy, and the day when terrorism does not happen as a daily incident in Kashmir, the day is still a little far away, but the day will come. There is perceptible change on the ground situation in Kashmir.
Absolutely. Major Arya, I'm going to come to you in just a bit. Zeenat, if I could come to you now. Zeenat, there have been a large number of meetings politically that various parties have held in Kashmir. Now, while some of them are, of course, asking for restoration of statehood immediately, there are others who are still, wanting the government to actually, withdraw the abrogation of 370. Now, that's something perhaps not likely to happen. But politically, what are the demands that major parties from the state are likely to put forward before the Prime Minister today?
Nupur, you see that if you will just analyze the statement that was made by Ms. Mufti in Srinagar 2 days back, where she said that before going to Prime Minister, before he take any decision on Kashmir, it's important to win the hearts of people of Jammu and Kashmir, and for which Prime Minister can initiate certain CBMs in the form of just releasing those political prisoners or the prisoners who are behind bars for the last 2 years, or talking about the people like from the trade and the tourism who have suffered losses, and the economy is in shambles post abrogation of Article 370. Similarly, if we see the statement coming from Farooq Abdullah, where he made mention of the restoration of article is very important, and simultaneously the other leaders pitched for statehood, because all those statehoods has been very much promised to the people of Jammu and Kashmir on the floor of house. That is what was pitched by Ghulam Nabi Azad also, right, that there is no compromise, that yes, this will come definitely, because Prime Minister has made the statement, leaders have made the statement on the floor of house, where it has been promised that statehood will be restored. But you see then the CPIM leader taking another stand, that it's not only about Jammu and Kashmir that they are meeting the Prime Minister, but also taking the voices, the demands coming from the people of Ladakh. Right. So it is Jammu Kashmir Ladakh, because Jammu Kashmir Ladakh have always been together.
Absolutely. As you're pointing out, obviously, Zeenat, there are going to be a host of demands that political parties are likely to make. I'm going to come come back to you, but let me go back to Major Arya, who's now back with us. Major Arya, you know, the internal political situation aside, you know, this all-party meeting, we are told, may also discuss external factors that are likely to affect Jammu and Kashmir. One of them, of course, is going to be the withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan. And obviously, you know, there is the military situation with China in Ladakh.
No, absolutely. It's very important for people to keep Kashmir, peaceful. And this will happen by various methods and means. You rightly mentioned that there is China, on the Ladakh line of actual control on the Chinese side itself. But the problem is that China is creating pressure there. And it will be difficult to handle two situations at the same time. While we are capable, it is not a situation that is desirable. Number two, I would like to tell you that all these stakeholders that are coming for the meeting at the Prime Minister's residence, if I'm right, you see, these are the old guard. Most of them are the old guard of Kashmir. Many of them are the people who are directly responsible for terrorism in Kashmir. If not, as OGWs, but at least people who give that intellectual cover fire and give political cover. Everybody knows Mehbooba Mufti and her linkages. I mean, it's open for all there to see. Their funding and the way they have gone about it. While I understand that it is important to, get the confidence back of the people of Kashmir so that they can join the mainstream, but people must also not forget that the mess that we are in Kashmir is also largely due to these two families. Unfortunately, both of them will be attending the meeting today.
All right, Major Arya, do stay with us. Let me go across to Piyush now, who's reporting from outside the Prime Minister's residence. I understand that's where this meeting is going to be taking place. Now, Piyush, we know that this meeting does not really have a set agenda, but it is being looked upon as a meeting to perhaps bring together political parties on the same page as the central government. Now, it has been on the cards for a while. First, of course, there were a large number of political parties in Kashmir which were not willing to even talk to the centre about this, but that seems to have been bridged for now. Give us a sense of what you are hearing about the issues that are going to be discussed.
Well, Nupur, if we talk about the issues that are going to be discussed, what we are learning is that there could be talks on a delimitation process, also talks on a restoration of statehood of Jammu and Kashmir, because we have seen as to how there are political parties, almost everyone, excluding BJP, which is now going to take part in a meeting, almost every party has demanded the restoration of statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. That could also be discussed. In fact, the biggest point which will be discussed is that about the restoration of Article 370, because that has been the main point on which the Gupkar Alliance parties have been focusing on. Remember that a meeting also took place at Farooq Abdullah's residence of all these stakeholders of Gupkar Alliance, and they had decided that yes, they are going to talk to Prime Minister and they will put forth their main demand of restoration of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, and also restoration of statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. So these are the few points on which the discussion might take place. As of now, like you were telling to our viewers, that the agenda of this meeting has not been decided, but at 3 p.m. the leaders will be coming here. One second, let me try to show you pictures from right outside the Prime Minister's residence where this meet will take place. My video journalist Anup continues to show you that particular gate from where these leaders will be going inside. That's the very road which connects the 7 LKM, and then they will be coming out from the other side. So when they come here, we will definitely show the visuals to our viewers and before the meeting begins. But yes, today it's going to be the very important day, because Prime Minister and the government also believes that it's important to speak to every stakeholder,
right,
because we are also learning
right,
that in coming few days there could be the process of delimitation which will begin, and also before
absolutely,
that,
absolutely, as you're pointing out, Piyush, obviously delimitation is an exercise that's going to take a while to take place, and it has already begun. But let me go back to Major Arya now. Major Arya, what we understand is that this meeting has largely been called to strengthen the political process, but the timing of it is very, very important, because we are at a phase in the country where we have relative peace with Pakistan. There has been a ceasefire that has held for a while. Of course, there have been a few stray incidents here and there. Terrorism is largely under control. The number of incidents that take place have gone down. But there are other external situations. For instance, I mentioned the withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan. That perhaps those are things that are also so in that sense the timing of it does become important. What do you think about that?
No, absolutely. The timing is important. But if we are to correctly analyze the situation, we must also watch what the Pakistani media is saying about it. And there are very credible elements within the Pakistani media with decades of investigative and journalistic experience who say that, Imran Khan's party was on board when the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A happened. They also said that suddenly one day ceasefire was declared. And I think it is my analysis, though personal, that this is in a long line and chain of events. Pakistan knows exactly what is going on because Pakistan agrees that without India's help, it cannot stand on its 2 feet. And also the fact that Pakistan is not going to say anything about it. They will make noises. They will make noises. But I think, brokered by the US and other powers, an understanding has been reached that Pakistan will quieten down. It is under a great deal of pressure from FATF. Its economy is sinking very rapidly. It is no longer in a position to support this so-called jihad in Kashmir. It's not going to happen. It will continue to make noises. Imran Khan will keep on speaking from the floor of that parliament, but nothing on ground will happen. I think this situation is what it is. And you're very right when you point towards Afghanistan, because last time the situation in Afghanistan happened like this, where the Americans withdrew, there was an all-out jihad in Kashmir. We had Afghanis, we had the Chinese, we had the Chechen, we had the Sudanese, we had even the East Turkmenians, the Uyghurs fighting in Kashmir Valley. We have seen all that. I was there in the 90s in Kashmir, and in the 90s they were very active, and then they were killed and they were neutralized, etc. But the fact of the matter is that these things today they will find it very difficult to do. Pakistan will actually be a buffer. And yes, there will be an impact of the US withdrawal from Afghanistan. I agree with your assessment.